welcome once again to the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We're very happy to have you with us. And if you will allow me, I'd like to read a little something to you. It has a lot to do with today's show. Broken Hill is running out of water. Children are suffering from skin conditions. Chlorine levels are elevated. The government is about to submit $500 million to a possible water security pipeline, and residents don't know what's going on. We're talking about Flint, Michigan, aren't we? No, not really. We're talking about somewhere else here in the United States. Not exactly. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and for this story, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the land down under. Yes, we're going to jet on over to Australia, New South Wales, in fact, where a very good friend, personal friend, and a good friend of the Phil Taylor Jones Show resides, and she's going through this actual problem right now. We'd like to give a very big thank you to Kerrie Reardon of New South Wales, Australia, for giving us this piece of information. I guess she'd been hearing a lot about what's going on in Flint, Michigan, and made the immediate connection. Hey, we're going through pretty much the same thing. In fact, when we get into the meat and potatoes of this story, you might figure that Flint, Michigan, and Broken Hill in New South Wales, Australia, could be sister cities. They're going through the same garbage, and what? At the hands of creepy politicians. I'm telling you, folks, not only here in the United States, but all over the world, politicians are the degradation of their nations. Let's get into Broken Hill and what they're going through down there. Now, Broken Hill is a rural town that for all of its life has gotten its water from rain and floodwaters. Now it's at the mercy of the New South Wales government in its quest for drinking water. Now, as far as October 15th, going back to 2015, see the similarities there between there and Flint? The government committed almost $500 million and floated possible solutions to the crisis. Getting water from nearby lakes and to put in a pipeline from the Murray River in southern New South Wales, or another pipeline to Broken Hill from South Australia. A decision is supposed to be made next month, meaning March 2016. This is ridiculous. Now, while the government discusses possible solutions, Broken Hill is living on water sourced from the diminishing Menindee Lakes and treated in a desalination plant refurbished in late 2015 to cope with the reverse osmosis process needed to make the Lake Menindee surface water consumable. Now, if that lake runs dry, the town will be temporarily supplied with bore water. Sounds disgusting. Now, when these lakes are full, they can hold about 3 times the amount of water as Sydney Harbor. But they haven't been that close to being full in years. Like Southern California, Broken Hill is in an extreme drought. The third drought of almost the last 100 years. Now, many locals from Broken Hill are delusioned by the New South Wales government and their local council, refusing to believe that this water crisis is the result of natural phenomena. You see the connection here, folks? Government. And we're going to get further back into this, but remember the old Flint story? How the governor and other, governmental muckety-mucks said that the water was pure, it was good, it was clean. While the residents are saying it's filthy, it stinks, it's discolored, it's It's, it's just unfit to bathe in, let alone drink. Well, they're going through the same problems there in Broken Hill. Now, there hasn't been so much of a lead level, but they're suffering from extreme amounts of chlorine and salt and other impurities that are so bad that, like Flint, the water smells when it comes out of the tap. The citizens of Broken Hill are very hesitant to even water plants. With all that salt in the water, naturally, the poor plants are going to wither up and die. And it's just unconscionable of these political idiots to treat citizens this way. You would think that we were talking about some third world country in Africa, or somewhere down like in Mexico or somewhere where the people are really poor and they can't do any better. They've got to get water out of disgusting wells or what have you. New South Wales is a beautiful, beautiful place in Australia. Some of the most breathtaking land you'll ever see. Broken Hill is, a rural part of that. And again, beautiful place to be. But the water is terrible because the lakes are drying up. Now, is this because of, evaporation? Or is the government actually trying to hide something? Well, when you mention government, you usually mention something that's nasty and crooked. Let's go on and get a medical perspective on this. Dr. Ramu, and if I'm mangling this physician's name, please forgive me. Dr. Ramu Nachiappan has been a general practitioner there in Broken Hill for 25 years. He says the water is definitely to blame. Hang on a minute, I'm getting something going on here. He says the water is definitely to blame for the skin conditions, citing a lack of education and transparency, as well as an increased use of soaps as the reason why residents are suffering from rashes and itchy skin. See, as they bathe with this nasty salty water, and it's really itching their skin, then they may want to use extra soap. Soaps and lotions and things have pH balances in there, and it may interact with the gunk that's already on their skin, and it's causing horrible problems. Just nasty rashes and lesions on people's skin, just like over in Flint, Michigan. He says aesthetically, the water in Broken Hill has never been comparable to the water in Malaysia, where he used to live. He says ever since he's lived in Broken Hill, he found the taste of the water isn't very good. He's not talking about necessarily, he is talking about the flavor, not the quality. He lived in Malaysia, where the water came out of the tap. It was pretty tasty, he says. It's mountain water or rainwater, whereas in Broken Hill, the water's stagnant. It just sits there, and it can get hot over there in Australia. So it just sits there and kind of, boils. Not really boiled, but you know what I mean. It just sits there in these chemicals and salt, and it's just, they're just like becoming a part of each other. Just like that nasty water in Flint. There are so many similarities here that it's not even funny. To keep these citizens in the dark, to keep the physicians in the dark as to how to maybe go about treating this. It doesn't cost anything to invite physicians to come to your seminars or to come to your governmental meetings where you're dispersing information. This is a travesty. Those people, and I'm not pretending that I know anything about Australian government. I don't. I've only been to that wonderful place about 4 times in my entire lifetime, and I've enjoyed it. It was a beautiful place, had a great time there. Wonderful people, very loving and kind. But the politicians obviously aren't, because to allow these people to suffer this way, the way that this Governor Schneider allows the people in Flint to suffer, is unconscionable. You talk about a bunch of bastards. That's what they are, pure and simple. And they need to be driven out of office by whichever way the Aussie folk run their governmental system, the ones who are over this debacle in Broken Hill need to be out immediately. Everybody deserves to have clean, pure drinking water. And think of the children. Not that any one life over there is less important, but the children. I mean, come on. What are you thinking, you idiots over there, you governmental muckety-mucks in Broken Hill? Come on. It says, even the Minister of Health, Susan Ley, says the water is of acceptable standard in Australia. And the interesting question would be to ask, how does it compare to Sydney or Melbourne? Governmental muckety-mucks. How dare she come on here when people are going to doctors with lesions the size of $50, looking really disgusting, like somebody had been beaten, hands look like I don't know what. And I will be getting some still shots along with this on this show so that you can see what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous. Residents fearful the water is not up to national standards. Jess Chapman, who has 2 kids, said that her kids are itchy every day. Her skin is so itchy that it drives her bonkers. Her daughter had to have a week off from school because of these lesions. And now the baby is starting to get them. One lady, in fact, the same lady, Jess Chapman, said she couldn't possibly allow her kids to drink this stuff because if it's doing this to the outside of their bodies, what must it be doing to the inside? I mean, come on, this is terrible. It's just disgusting. They said that this water, it has a terrible taste. It has a terrible smell of chlorine. But yet the governmental agencies, they say it's good. Government, oh boy, disgusting. Get out of here. There was another citizen, her name is Kathy Holmes. She said the water tasted terrible. But since an installation of the reverse osmosis plant, it has improved. And she believed it started working in January of this year. And she said now the water is much better. It's not actually perfect, but it's much better. Yet another lady named Zoe DeTore, a young mother with a 3-year-old, she said the water's still coming out of her tap and it's horrible. It's disgusting. It smells, it's discolored, it's just unfit to drink. And she said even when she bathes with it, she still comes out smelling as though she just stepped out of a swimming pool. And the garbage is going on to her skin and her 3-year-old child. This is unacceptable. So the citizens of Broken Hill are angry, they're frustrated, they're terrified as to how long this is going to go on, what's going to happen. The water sources that they have are drying up. Our friend Kerrie sent us some pictures via our Google Plus account, and I will be also putting these on the show today for you to actually see what's going on. Now in Flint, there is an abundance of dirty water still coming out. There's an abundance of it. But over here in Broken Hill, it's literally drying up. They're going to have just spaces where the lakes used to be, and I guess you could veritably drive dune buggies or what have you in there because there's not going to be any water left. And then what are they going to do? Wait for the government since October of 2015 to come to their rescue, and here it is almost March of 2016? This is terrible. I know that the folks of Broken Hill, including our wonderful friend Kerrie, are, getting to these governmental muckety-mucks by whichever way possible, sending them emails, writing letters to their council members or to the actual mayors or whatever they have over there in Australia. This needs to be looked upon. And the people in Flint, Michigan, if you're looking at this video, looking at the show today, I would urge you to get with that city. Again, it's Broken Hill in New South Wales, Australia. Flood that place with letters. Let them know that you are with your brothers and sisters over there that are going through this, because you would know what they're going through better than anybody else on the planet. Get with them. Let them know. The mayor of Flint, Michigan, if you could maybe put some fire under whoever is the leader of Broken Hill. Let them know they're not doing right. They need to get with the higher-ups, and they need to settle this problem now. The citizens of Broken Hill are in peril. When you see these pictures on the show today, kids, this one kid, his legs are all lesioned up. This is terrible. Terrible. We're living in one of the most technologically advanced societies ever, and people don't have clean drinking water. This is sick business, folks. Not only here in the USA, but all over the world, apparently. And it's now coming to the forefront. And why? Because of these bastards, these nickel-sick bastards that are doing this to people, and they're supposed to be there protecting and serving the public. It is ludicrous. We thank you for joining us for the show today. And to Kerrie, we said we're going to get this show out for you, and we're happy to do it because the world needs to know about what's going on, not only in Flint, but in Broken Hill and everywhere else that there is not clean drinking water for citizens to drink. Thank you so much for joining us. I want you to try to take care and stay safe in this crazy mixed up world where seemingly it's even hard to get a clean drink of water today. We thank you for watching the Phil Taylor Jones Show, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.